Welcome to our 10th and final edition of New Mexico High School Football Plays of the Week training tape. We have the last week of the season coming up, and then we head into playoffs. Small school playoffs have already started, so we have quite a few plays to get to today. Want to make sure that we get to all of them, so let's go and get started. Want to look at this. First four plays are going to be examples of illegal pop-up kicks, and we want to look in Rule 224.10 under definitions of what a pop-up kick is. And then we want to look under Rule 6.111 under the legality of a pop-up kick. And you can see from these clips that we definitely have a kick that goes into the air, whether it goes directly into the air or is driven into the ground and then goes into the air. These are illegal pop-up kicks, and we want to make sure that we get them and shut these plays down, as these are fouls for illegal pop-up kicks, and we don't allow recoveries on these types of kicks. Also want to mention that we want to check the legality of the kicking team on all these types of plays. Even if it's not a pop-up kick and it's just an onside kick, we want to make sure that the kicking team is legal and not offside, and we treat it as a play in those cases. So be on the lookout for these. They've been happening. Four of these happened last weekend. We want to make sure that we get these illegal pop-up kicks. Our second play today involves an interception return. And we're going to get two fouls. One we do call, one we miss. So we're going to look at around the 6-yard line and right around the 15-yard line. We see this interception return. We get a pretty big block at the 6-yard line, and then we get a hold at about the 18-yard line. So let's back this up. Let's take a look at this first block. Again, defender intercepts the ball and begins to return the play out. Want to look at the block right here by this particular defender. This was called for a foul for illegal blindside block, and we would support that for illegal blindside block. And the key point here is, yes, they may be facing that blocker, but it doesn't give them time to protect themselves. Even though that they can see that block, just because I see it doesn't mean I can protect myself. And you can tell by the body language of this guy getting hit and going to the ground that he really didn't have time to protect himself. So we like this for illegal blindside block, even though it doesn't look like your typical illegal blindside block where the defender is totally out of the field of vision of the blocker, or the blocker's out of the field of vision of the defender. This one does rise to the level of forceful and should be called as a legal blindside block. The next foul we want to look at is one that we don't get, and it's pretty clear and obvious. Takedown. Want to look right here at the action by these players. You're going to see him pull him down and take him to the ground, and we missed that one. That's pretty obvious. Line of scrimmage official on this particular play should be able to get that. We just need to be looking in the right places for it. So one, you got a non-typical blindside block that was called correctly for a foul, and then we have a hold that we miss. We know there's a lot of holes in coverage, especially reverse mechanics when we have 5-person. We've got to do our best to look off the ball and be looking for fouls away from the ball and not be watching the runner itself. Good job to get that blindside block, though. Our next two plays are going to be combined to identify correct calls for targeting, but also to define and establish some criteria for what is ejectable and what is not ejectable. And we know that flagrant fouls are ejectable, and so we want to get an idea of, well, how can we determine what is and what is not flagrant. So let's take a look at this first play. We're going to see a punt that is going to bounce shallow. It's not going to go very far. And we're going to get a targeting foul against a return team player who blocks a kicking team player trying to down the ball. And you can see that block happen right around the 38-yard line. I'll back it up a little bit. Flag is down. We get a foul for illegal blindside block with targeting. And so this type of action would be considered flagrant and ejectable. And the reason this would be flagrant and ejectable is because this is a non-football play. This hit against that defenseless player has nothing really to do with the game of football. It's just a punishing, malicious hit. And so we would support this for an ejection. Okay, the ball is not contested by any return team player. The kicking team is going to down the ball. Everybody knows how this play is going to end, and 44 is just out there to punish. So we would support this for a flagrant ejectable foul. The next play we're going to see is also a correct call for targeting. We're going to get a run, a run up the field, and then this runner's going to get tackled, and he's going to get tackled pretty hard by the linebacker, and you can see the linebacker lower his head, and he's going to target the runner, and so this is a foul for targeting. Now this would not be ejectable because this is a football play. While vicious and hard, this is not an intent to punish. This is a linebacker trying to make a tackle. He does not use the best form. He does not use the best technique and is very dangerous. But this is not an ejectable just because this is a part of the game of football. Not that it's legal, but he is making a tackle. Whereas if we contrast that to our last play, this guy isn't playing football. This guy is just out here punishing. So we want to make sure that we understand the distinction between these two plays, where this hit on this particular play is unnecessary, unwarranted, and would like to be flagged as a foul and a disqualification or ejection. The hit on this particular play, while a foul and violent, is part of the game of football when they're tackling somebody and is a football act. It is not a non-football act, and we would not support this for an ejection. Our next play is going to involve a couple of fouls on this particular play. And in five-person mechanics, we understand that there's just some plays we are not going to see. And so we want to pay attention to our right guard here and want to pay attention to our left tackle. Right guard first, left tackle second. Let's go ahead and let this play out. You're going to see the right guard come and pull. He's going to basically tackle the defender. And then if we back up, we can focus on number 79, the left tackle. We're going to see the left tackle grab and restrict and hold number 11 on the way to the end zone. And so we want to talk about coverage on this particular play. So this hold by the pulling guard that we're going to see right here. We would like our line of scrimmage official at the bottom of the screen to get this, but that's not going to be his focus. Our referee who's standing back here maybe could see it, but he's got three players right in front of him right here. He's not going to be able to see that. Our umpire is focused on these blocks right here. So we agree, this is a foul for holding. We don't know that anybody is going to be able to see this in a five-person mechanic game. So we're going to miss this one. Now, this other hold by number 79, that is our line of scrimmage official. Our line judge really has no other responsibility on this play, and so we should be able to get this, and we should have a flag down for holding on this play, but we don't get it. So we need to really make sure that we understand our keys and progressions. Again, as we get into playoffs and every play matters, we want to be focused and sharp, right? So on this particular play, if we're talking mechanic-wise, referee is working backs and opposite tackle and near tackle. Is our head linesman, our ends on this side, I should say, belong to our head linesman. Our line judge, this would be his end or his lineman, and when we go snap tackle to where's our responsibility, this would be the only thing he has to look at. Umpire is worried about guard side, guard, and back side, and our back judge is taking care of his strong side responsibilities. So unfortunately, we can't see this first hold, but we should be able to see this second hold in a five-man game. And so let's make sure that we review our mechanics and we go over these in pregame so that way we can cover these plays and be sure that we are looking where we're supposed to look. Next play is going to be another two-play segment. We want to take a look at this D-end on both plays. I want to take a look at his actions. I'll let it play. You can take a look. Yep, he does go low. Rewind it one more time so we can take a look. That DN goes low on blocker. This is a foul for illegal block below the waist. Cannot go low. And so we missed this foul once on this play, and then on our next play we're going to see it happen again. Same player, same defensive end. He's going to go low and cut the lead blocker on this play. So want to go back to, okay, how can we cover this play? Who can get this? So this really has to be between the line of scrimmage official, the head linesman, and our referee at this particular point. They're the only two that are going to have a good look at this. When this play develops and we see everything and we read run and we see how this goes, our line of scrimmage official has an open look to this low block. Our referee back here also, if he's working the front side of the play as he should be, he can see this low block. So we should have flags down from 2 officials on this particular play. Unfortunately, we missed both this low block by the defender, and this low block by the defender. And we probably miss it not because we didn't see it, but because we're not used to defenders going low. It's usually the offense that's going low. And so we want to make sure that we're aware, defenders can foul too with low blocks. And it usually is going to happen when you have big linemen coming at smaller defenders, where smaller defenders are making what we like to call career decisions and trying to just get out of the way. So make sure that we're aware of these low blocks, especially by defenders on pulling guards and pulling tackles. Play 6 this week involves an illegal forward pass. We'll let this play out here so you can see exactly how this happens. We're going to get an interception at the sideline nearest us, and the intercepting team is going to try and make a pitch to keep the ball in bounds, and it ends up going forward. The crew lets this play out because nobody is sure what they have, so they let it play out as if this was a fumble. But if we rewind it, we'll see that this is probably the best thing you can do. If you're not sure what's going on, don't stop a play. We're going to see a clear interception, has a foot down and control, and he's going to try and pitch it to his teammate, but he ends up passing it forward. So when the play ends, the crew's going to get together, they're going to piece this together, they're going to recognize that they had an illegal forward pass by the intercepting team, and they're going to enforce this half the distance from the spot of the foul. So a real good job of officiating a play that we don't see a whole lot. Illegal forward passes by the defense. Nobody shut it down and made assumptions. They let it play out, let it work as if it was a fumble, and then put the pieces together and enforce this half the distance from the spot of the fumble. Good work by this crew. Play 10 today is going to involve a quarterback rolling out of the pocket and throwing a forward pass, and it's going to touch either an offensive player, defensive player, or both of these players. So let's take a look. The quarterback gets outside the tackle box and throws the ball forward, and it looks like it hits his offensive lineman number 62. If it hits number 62, we don't necessarily have a foul unless number 62 is intentionally trying to catch it, in which case we would have a foul for illegal touching. If it hits the defense first, then all bets are off and anybody can go and try and catch that pass. But we got to take into consideration intentional grounding here. If we freeze it right here, right as he throws it, there is no eligible receiver in the area. And so if it hits the offensive lineman and he does not intentionally touch it, we don't have a foul for intentional touching, but we may have a foul for intentional grounding. And so we have to evaluate all aspects of this play and realize that there is no eligible receiver in the area. Now you're going to say he's outside of the tackle box, he's outside of the pocket, he can legally dump it. Well, part of the provision is that the ball makes it back to the line of scrimmage or to the neutral zone. And in this particular case, this ball hits number 62 and does not get back to the neutral zone, so therefore he's not exempt from intentional grounding, and we would have a foul for intentional grounding on this play. So a whole lot to digest on this play, a whole lot to put together, and a whole lot to make sure that we get that we understand the rules on. Number one, the quarterback is outside of the pocket and can legally ground the ball to save yardage. Number two, is there a receiver in the area if this ball does not make it back to the line of scrimmage? And then number three, who touches this ball first, offense, defense? If defense touches it, then we're good. If offense touches it, then we need to determine, did this offensive lineman intentionally touch this ball, or did it inadvertently hit him as he's trying to execute a block or do whatever else he's doing? So a lot of things going on in this play, and we got to make sure that we get it right. We rule this an incomplete pass. We don't rule intentional grounding, and we don't rule illegal touching either. Our next two plays are bound together so we can take a look at enforcement regarding fouls that happen before change of possession, after change of possession. We're going to see this quarterback roll out to his right, and there's going to be a foul from our head linesman. Flag comes out early. We have an interception. We're going to have a return. We have a potential blindside block right around this 18-yard line with the team in red, their player going down. But let's talk about this play and exactly how we enforce whatever was called here. We do not know what's called, but we assume this is a foul by the defense before the change of possession, so that means that the team in white would not have had the ball with clean hands. And so once this play is over, next we got to enforce this. And so when we go to the next play, which is play 31 on that particular playlist, we're going to see we're snapping the ball at the opposite 40-yard line. If we go to the previous play, we were snapping from A's 45. So this was obviously a major foul prior to change of possession, and so this would be enforced from the previous spot going forward. And we can see that we do the correct enforcement here. It's still second down if we went back and looked. Second down, we know that this is more than 10 yards because we can't see our 10-yard markers, and we can get to here. We can see we're in the correct spot. B40, we still have second down, and the ball still belongs to the red team. So knowing when fouls occur, whether they're before the change of possession or after the change of possession, is very important in terms of enforcement. And we do a good job here to talk about what we have, what the foul is, and whether or not it's before the change of possession and after the change of possession. So good job on this particular play by this crew. Our last play this week is going to involve a trick play, and we want to just make sure that everybody understands that when we're talking about trick plays, that the formation has to be perfect. There's no leeway for imperfections on trick plays. We're going to see two people moving here, and then someone get under center and snap the ball. And so, first off, there was a foul on this play for illegal formation, which I'm glad we got the illegal formation foul. It looks like we have 5 in the backfield. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or maybe this guard was in the backfield, but either way, they have a foul on this play for illegal formation. But really, the real foul here is an illegal shift. We have 2 players in motion, and neither one of them, only one of them comes to a stop, and even that stop is iffy, as he's not set for an entire second. So this foul for illegal shift should have been called. We get a foul for an illegal formation, which is fine. We get that one, and we end up bringing the play back. But as a reminder, whenever we have trick plays, be aware of illegal shifts, because typically that is where we're going to see, especially on these type of plays where they're trying to deceive the defense into thinking that there's confusion. But the formations themselves have to be perfect, and so we do get them for illegal formation on this. So good job by this crew to get this foul, and just make sure a higher degree of scrutiny on formations on trick plays for everybody. Good luck in the postseason. Congratulations on the conclusion of another successful season. And as soon as postseason's over, I'm sure everybody's going to enjoy the break from being on the field. But we will get started again come 2025 in the spring with our clinics and rule sessions and things of that sort. So everybody have a good week 10. Everybody travel safe this week. And if you do receive a postseason assignment, best of luck and congratulations on that postseason assignment. Have a great week, everybody.
As we close out this week's Plays of the Week, don't forget to send any interesting plays to our Huddle program for feedback. Not only can reviewing film help you better adjudicate similar situations, but it's a valuable tool for improving your mechanics and positioning. Take the time to watch yourself and learn from it. Have fun this week, safe travels to those on the road, and remember, make them big.